We're ready to start, even though we're missing some people. Two parts are going to be late. My name is Gregory Papanikos. I'm the president of this wonderful association that organizes small events every summer, spring in Athens. And I'd like to welcome all of you to a beautiful and historical city. Actually, our idea of organizing such an association goes back only 2,500 years, where Pericles in ancient Athens, he wanted to open up the city and invite people to come to see and learn. So that's, if you go to our website, that's the quote from Pericles, from Thucydides actually, when he said that's the advantage of our city. It's open to the world. And this is very important. And this period, I should say, that nobody wants other people in their city, especially in the Mediterranean. So we open up the city, and even the definition of what was Greek in ancient times was amazing by a philosopher called Socrates, that he said, of course it's a matter of interpretation, but he said, who is Greek does not depend upon language, race, but upon education. So the difference between Greeks and non-Greeks is the education. So you Greeks, welcome to your country, in other words. Since you are educated, by definition you belong to this race. And this is very important because it gives the role that education should have in modern times. Of course, education is one word of our title, of our name, Athens Institute for Education. Research is another, but I don't have time to explain why we put that word there. Now, we call ourselves an institute, but actually we're an association. The reason, I'll be very frank with you, we call it an institute, because initially, 20 years or 30 years ago, when we met in Toronto actually, to set up this association, a lot of, we were about 400 people, academics and research, junior. I remember I didn't even start high school at the time. But anyway, we discussed what would be the purpose of this association. Of course, the mission was there, to invite people and academics from all over the world to come to this city and exchange ideas about current and future developments of their district. But apart from the mission, there are other things, side effects, positive side effects. One positive side effect that some people demanded was to have an opportunity to come and do research in Greece or write off expenses for a sabbatical, for example. It's very difficult to get the flexibility required by a Greek university. So this was the reason. And then they said, if we want to apply for funding, for outside funding, if you call ourselves an association, I was against, by the way, but it worked though, then we cannot apply. Give you the tricks of the trade. Of course, if you go to your university and say, I'm going to go to the American Association to do my sabbatical, they become very skeptical. But if it's an Athens Institute, then they give the permission. And this because the Greek universities, the Greek state universities, they are inflexible in providing such letters, or they provide it after your sabbatical has finished. It takes them some time. So this is the reason why we call ourselves an institute. We have people that they do their sabbatical, they do their research. We provide them with no money, but we provide them with some small office cards, emails, access to internet. That's up to you to know in case that you want to spend more time in Athens. Of course, we have, apart from visiting, we are not teaching institute, even though we discussed this for 2018 to start some summer courses, especially with the United States universities. So if you have ideas, time, money, then come and talk to me. I'll be around for the 2 days of the conference, especially tonight, and then we can discuss your possible involvement with this summer school, summer courses, and this is up to you to organize. So still it's under thought, but we plan it for 2018, so we have time, but not so much time. So this is to say that we have in mind to get involved with teaching, especially non-Greek students that they come from abroad, that again fits with our mission to bring people, academics and researchers from all over the world. So that's another thing. Now, a new development in the last 2 years is that we, unfortunately, I should say, I'll go back a little bit, we have to publish. We don't like I personally don't like publication because it doesn't really meet our mission, because we want people to come and exchange ideas. Actually, we don't need even a paper, because you can sit in a round table discussion, that's the idea of a panel, and then exchange ideas about your discipline. But this is very difficult to get funding if you don't have publication. So we were forced here, because there are so many outlets to publish outside Greece and around the world, thousands of journals. So we have started the last 2 or 3 years to publish some e-journals, 15 of them. And there, even though we have a lot of papers submitted inside and outside the conference system, still we need people, we need good papers, and still we need people for reviewing. We prefer old people that do not compete anymore for the academia, so they have solved this existential part of their academic life, and this is very, very important. We say that on our website. We like old people that don't compete, and they want to offer to science, to academia. So please help us with e-journals if you have this ability, of course, to review papers or submit a good paper to be considered for publication. Now, I'm not doing any formal introduction of the Athens Institute. Our Vice President, Professor Poulos, will do it. But just for the young generation, unfortunately, we have become very expensive, and I don't see young people coming because it's too expensive for them, I know. I see old people like me. It's like a mirror. But for those that they are young, an advice is, my contribution that I can make to their thought process is, if you think that you're going to impress the world by presenting 15 minutes and leave, I think you are wrong. So if you want to benefit from this conference, it's good if you stay throughout the 2 days and you move around, because Atiner organizes many small parallel events in different fields. So you can move around. All I think rooms are ours, so you can enter any room without prior knowledge who is talking what. Go there and see. And this is and learn, of course. This is very important, because some people, they get here and then they leave. We don't like them, but we cannot force them to stay inside. But it's important, if you respect your discipline, your academic career, to stay in, contribute to the discussion with politeness, and of course, those that they chair a session. This is a very important issue. Usually, as you were surprised, if you are new, that we start on time, because your preconception was there are Brits who know what time they're going to start. Maybe this afternoon session will take place tomorrow, and so on and so forth. But you will be surprised that we run the conference according to our time schedule and a little bit earlier. So, and of course we are very flexible, we do a lot of adjustments in the program. I don't apologize for that, because it's not our fault, because people missing airplane, because they are coming from 50 different countries. So we have to be flexible and adjust the program. But if you stay, not that they complain about that, I know that they have the intention not to stay for the 2 days. Because if you stay for the 2 days, it doesn't matter for you, because you're going to hear the speaker no matter what. But if you come only for that specific speaker, then you leave, then of course you might miss his or her lecture, because he or she missed the plane, for example, or in the last minute array. Now, this is very critical, the role of the chair. As you can understand, since people coming from so many different countries, English is not their first language. And of course, by adopting English as a mean of communication. I know the theory about communication, don't teach me about that, I have learned it. But we do not aspire to any political, social, cultural, or whatever connotations might be implied by the use of English language. Ancient Greek was out of the question, Latin was out of the question, so only English left as an international language. So this is important for the chairs to know, that people that present, especially the young people, help them if they don't understand the question, because in the past we have this South America, South USA I should say, or some English Cockney professors, that they changed their accent to 19th century English, so nobody understands, including their fellows. I mean, generally they don't, nobody understands them. So they do that on purpose, to ask questions that nobody understands the meaning of the question. So, if you present and you don't understand the question, simply say to them, sorry sir, your English accent is terrible. I cannot understand it. So, if they cannot make it simple, say, outside the room we'll discuss it. Now, if you want to imitate a perfect English accent, that's my accent. If you cannot do it, that means that you have a problem. Of course, you can approximate. That's the best accent, English accent in the room. So the chairs, they have to play a very important role. Part of that important role is they don't ask questions. They don't comment on the papers presented. Because it's an old democratic rule. Who is going to check the rulers? Who is going to chair the chair? Because if you start spotting and comment on the paper. So they are timekeepers. We call it the North American style of chairing. And at the end, if there are no questions, leave the people to go outside. And you will see that they start discussing about the papers that were presented in the session. If, nevertheless, you cannot, because you have this insane tendency to talk forever and comment about everything, please, there is no solution to your problem, please ask us to change you. So we can find some other chairs. This is very important, so we don't enter into fights when the sessions end. Or sometimes you think that you help someone by asking questions. Please don't do that. Follow the rules. I know it's difficult enough to follow rules and policies, because there is something in the atmosphere. It doesn't matter where you come from, you become an anarchist when you come here. So you don't like the rules and policies. So it's environmentally determined. Thank you very much. I'll ask Professor Poulos to come and make a more formal presentation of the Athens Institute. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Nikos. Well, I'd like to also welcome you to this conference at Athens Institute of Education and Research. Short, is hosting this two-day conference. And I'm just going to kick off by saying a few words about the Institute. Atiner was established in 1995, and its mission has been to act as a forum where academics and researchers from all over the world can come together to this historic cradle of democracy, Athens, in order to exchange ideas on their research, to interact with each other, and to discuss future developments in their disciplines within an environment of respect for each other's opinions and beliefs. After all, the free expression of one's opinion formed the basis for the development of democracy. And as it turned out, the golden age of Athens was in fact the golden age of Western civilization. Education and searching or researching for the truth are the pillars of any free democratic society. And this is the reason why education and research are the two core words in Atiner's name. It is Atiner's mission to revive the glory of ancient Athens by inviting the world academic community to the city. And over 95% of Atiner's members are from institutions outside Greece, and our conferences are designed in such a way as to cater mainly for foreign academics. The basic activities of Atiner include, firstly, the organizing and hosting of international conferences and symposiums such as this one. Secondly, the carrying out of research And thirdly, the production of various publications. And these are the three cornerstones that drive the Institute, so to speak. And as you'll note in the course of this conference, cross-discipline sessions have also been arranged to address and accommodate the importance of interdisciplinary research in this globalized world that we live in. And since 1995, Atiner has organized more than 400 international conferences and other events, and has published close to 200 books. Atiner has also organized numerous roundtable discussions and public speeches on topical issues. And for a list of these, you may consult Atiner's website. The Institute is also currently involved in an ambitious project regarding the proposed establishment of an academic village. The aim of this project is to establish a community of research scholars and academics such as yourselves, and the proposed village will include a conference center, living facilities, as well as facilities for research and recreation. You'll find more information in this in your file as well. Now, turning to today's formal activities, you should each have a program by now. Please note, and this is very important, that each presentation is limited to 15 minutes. The chairpersons will keep time and use 3 and 1 minute reminder cards. And I'd also like to ask the chairs to adhere strictly to the time constraints. Please allow for questions and discussions after all the papers have been presented and not after each paper. The chairpersons must also fill out the report forms that they will be receiving. This is important because the final program will be based on the chairperson's reports. Should you need to make use of technical facilities in your presentation, please confirm that everything is in order before the session begins. There will always be someone from the admin staff to help you in this regard. And of course, there will be a coffee break between sessions. Well, just turning to the lighter side of things, the social program. You should also have the social program in your file. There's the Greek night tonight, which is to be recommended, of course. Apart from Greek cuisine, there'll be lots of Greek music and dancing, and you can even join in if you like. And then, of course, there's the formal dinner tomorrow night. These are private events that are organized by Atiner exclusively for conference delegates and their accompanying persons. Then there's the urban walk tomorrow, followed by a cruise on the following day, a cruise to selected islands, and then a visit to the ancient site of Delphi on Thursday. Just a few words on the publications. The Institute is involved with various publications. Firstly, there are the abstracts that are published. We are well aware that some institutions in the world treat abstracts as formal publications. And for this reason, we do have this as a publication. They have their own ISBN number and can, of course, be cited. Secondly, the papers that are presented at the conference are placed on the web as part of an online paper series, once the editing of the papers has been attended to and once you've approved of it as well. They will have their own ISSN number and can, of course, be cited. The purpose of this publication series is firstly to disseminate the information in your paper as quickly as possible, and secondly to allow for feedback in case you wish to make amendments before you submit your paper for publication in a book. And with regard to book publications, you'll receive an email soon after the conference asking you for a final draft for publication consideration and any other information that may be relevant. All papers that are submitted will go through a referee process before they are considered for publication in a book. And finally, as Dr. Papanikos has mentioned, Atiner also has its own journal series, which commenced in 2014. We currently have 15 journals which cover various disciplines, including yours. Papers submitted for the journals go through a double-blind peer review process, which is monitored by an editorial board. Our acceptance rate is less than 25% at the moment, and Atiner does not charge any processing or publication fee. Our list of reviewers includes more than 5,000 academics and researchers from more than 100 countries. Like on the issue of collaboration, Atiner, of course, would like to collaborate with other institutions, such as the ones that you're associated with. Academics and researchers at institutes are invited to collaborate with our institute on research and education projects. If you're not yet a member of the Institute, we'd like you to join and to assist with the reviewing and editing of papers. And you're also encouraged to collaborate at future conferences by submitting proposals for special panel discussions on a theme related to your own research. Academics and researchers interested in your theme will then be invited to participate in the special panel discussion, which you yourself will chair. So please have this in mind as well. We also have a visiting fellow and a visiting researcher program. And for more information on this, you can visit Atiner's website. Finally, colleagues, as is clear from the program, we've come from so many different countries, and we of course at Atiner sincerely hope that you'll make the most of this opportunity to interact with each other, that you'll enjoy this conference, that you'll go back home with fond memories, not only of the conference, but also of Athens and Greece. Most of all, of course, we'd like you to come back to future conferences. Thank you for being here, enjoy the conference, and you can all get prepared for the first session. Thank you. Thanks. The other venue is right next to us here, those of you who need to go there. And I'd like to ask the chairs to start getting ready for the session. And those participants who are going to be presenting in the first session, please make sure that the PowerPoint presentations have been handed to the admin representative.